The moment the taser cracked through the air, everything stopped. An elderly blind veteran crumpled to the ground, his cane clattering away as electricity surged through his fragile body. His retired canine, shadow white-muzzled, scarred, loyal even in old age, sprang forward to shield him, struggling to breathe as blood pooled beneath his chest. People screamed. Cars stopped. Phones came out. Bystanders shouted that the man couldn't see, that he wasn't the suspect the police were looking for. But panic had already taken over. Officers froze in horror as the dog's vest began to flash with a strange red military signal. No one recognized that, and then it happened. Deep rumble rolled through the city, growing louder, closer until armored trucks and soldiers flooded the street, surrounding the scene within seconds, and every officer realized the truth. They had just attacked the wrong man, but the military knew exactly who he was, and the truth about the blind veteran and his legendary K9 was about to explode into the open. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The morning was quiet, the kind of slow, peaceful day where nothing extraordinary was supposed to happen. Cars rolled through the intersection, sunlight glinting off windshields, and pedestrians waited patiently at the crosswalk. Among them stood an elderly man, white hair, dark glasses, a worn white shirt, and beside him, lying calmly, a retired German shepherd wearing a faded military canine vest. The blind veteran tapped his white cane gently, finding the edge of the curb as traffic hissed by. Thor, his faithful partner even in retirement, rose to his feet and stepped forward to guide him. To onlookers, they were just another pair crossing the street, until a sudden blare of horns changed everything. A frustrated driver dialed 911, shouting that a man was blocking traffic and refusing to move. Moments later, police cruisers screeched in from both sides, tires burning across the asphalt. Officers jumped out, shouting commands that the confused veteran couldn't see or fully hear. Thor sensed the tension instantly. The aging German shepherd stepped defensively in front of his handler, ears pinned, ready to protect him the same way he had on the battlefield years ago. But to a nervous rookie officer, Thor's instinct looked like aggression, and in a terrible split-second mistake, the rookie fired his taser. The electric crackle hit the air a split second before the screams. The blind veteran collapsed to his knees, his cane clattering across the pavement. Thor let out a heart-stopping yelp as the current surged through his old body, sending him crashing onto his side. People at the intersection froze. A woman dropped her shopping bags. Someone shouted, "He's blind. Can't you see he's blind?" Phones came out instantly, capturing every second. The rookie officer stood trembling, the taser still in his shaking hand. His face drained of color as he realized what he'd done. I thought the dog was attacking," he stammered, stepping backward in shock. But Thor wasn't attacking. He was trying to crawl toward his fallen handler, whining through the pain, dragging his weakened body inch by inch. A senior officer rushed in, kneeling beside the blind veteran. "Sir, can you hear me? Stay with me." His eyes widened when he saw the man's dog tag a worn metal ID stamped with a military emblem he recognized. Immediately, he grabbed the rookie by the vest. "Do you understand what you've done? This man is a decorated veteran. And that dog is a retired military canine. The rookie's knees buckled. A silence fell heavy. Suffocating realization spreading across the street. Paramedics rushed in, sliding to their knees beside the unconscious veteran. One checked his pulse. Another gently lifted Thor's head, whispering, "Easy, boy. Stay with us." The old German shepherd let out a broken whine, his paws twitching, still trying to reach his handler. The medic examining the veteran noticed something unusual. Inside the hollow handle of the man's white cane was a small metal plate engraved with a number, an emergency contact code no civilian would ever recognize. "What is this?" the medic muttered. A senior paramedic leaned closer. His eyes widened. This is a military emergency line. Only special units use it." He immediately dialed. The phone rang once. A voice answered sharply. "This is command. Identify the casualty." The paramedic swallowed. "Blind male, elderly. Identification reads Special Operations Canine Handler, retired. Severe neuromuscular shock. He needs immediate evacuation." There was a long pause. Then the voice ordered, "Do not move him from that location. We are deploying a response team. Secure the area." The paramedic stared at his phone. A response team? For him? Before anyone could react, the veteran's fingers twitched. His lips moved, whispering something barely audible. Thor's name. Thor. Bleeding and trembling, lifted his head, trying to crawl again. Bystanders wiped their eyes as the truth sank deeper. This was no ordinary man. And the world was about to find out. At first, people thought it was distant thunder. A low rumble rolled across the street, growing louder, heavier, shaking the ground beneath everyone's feet. The paramedics looked up. Officers froze. Even Thor, weak and trembling, lifted his head at the familiar vibration. Then the first Humvee appeared, followed by another, and another. Within seconds, an entire military convoy roared into the intersection, sealing every road with armored vehicles. Civilians gasped and backed away as soldiers in full gear jumped out, forming a tight perimeter around the fallen veteran and his dog. A captain in dark sunglasses stepped forward, his voice booming. "Police, stand down. Medical control transfers to the United States military now." Officers exchanged stunned glances. The rookie who fired the taser felt his stomach drop. He took a step back, chest tightening, realizing the scale of his mistake. The captain knelt beside the blind veteran with a level of respect that silenced the crowd. "Sir, we're here now." "Hold on." He turned to his men. "Get the K9 stabilized. Move." Two soldiers gently lifted Thor, placing him onto a tactical stretcher lined with medical foam. The old dog whimpered but didn't resist. His eyes locked only on his unconscious handler. The captain looked at the police commander, his expression cold. "You had no idea who he was, did you?" No one dared answer. The captain removed his sunglasses, revealing eyes that carried years of battles, losses, and memories. He looked at the police officers, not with anger, but with a painful disappointment. "You see this man?" he said quietly, placing a steady hand on the veteran's chest. "He's not just a veteran. He's a legend." The crowd leaned in, silent. Even the rookie officer couldn't look away. The captain continued, voice heavy with respect. "He once led a classified rescue operation that saved an entire platoon trapped behind enemy lines. he lost his sight during that mission. Stepping in front of a blast meant for his men. Gasps rippled through the street. And that dog, the captain said, nodding toward Thor being treated by military medics, was the last surviving member of his elite K9 unit. Thor saved soldiers too, found wounded men under rubble, dragged others to safety. He and this handler are the reason dozens of families didn't receive a folded flag. The rookie's face crumpled, tears welling. I didn't know, he whispered. No, the captain replied softly. But you should have listened. You should have looked closer. The crowd lowered their phones, shame replacing curiosity. People began stepping back, giving the veteran space he always deserved. Thor, weak but fighting, whimpered when he heard the captain speak, as if remembering those nights on the battlefield, the explosions, the missions. The bond that never broke. The truth settled over everyone like a weight. They hadn't just hurt an old man. They had wounded a hero. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The blind veteran lay still, surrounded by soldiers who treated him not as a casualty, but as a commander. Then his fingers twitched. Slowly, painfully, his hand lifted, searching the air. Thor, lying on the military stretcher, felt it before anyone else. His ears perked weakly, and he let out a soft, desperate whine. The captain stepped aside as two medics gently brought Thor closer. The old German shepherd stretched out a trembling paw, trying to reach his handler. When their hands touched, man and dog silence broke into tears across the street. The veteran's lips parted. In a faint, rasping voice, he whispered, "Good boy. You protected me." Again, the soldiers around them stood straighter. Some saluted. Even the hardened captain blinked away emotion. The police officers approached in shame, especially the rookie. He knelt beside the stretcher, voice cracking. "Sir, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." The veteran turned his head slightly. "Then learn," he murmured. "Not all battles look like battles." The captain placed a firm hand on the rookie's shoulder, not in anger, but in warning. With swift coordination, soldiers lifted both the veteran and Thor into separate military vehicles. Engines rumbled to life. "Full escort," the captain ordered. "Heroes don't walk alone." As the convoy pulled away, the crowd watched in awe, knowing they had witnessed something rare. Something powerful. Respect, loyalty, brotherhood, and a bond between a blind soldier and his old K9 that even time could not break.